World Bank, all other institutions, they make African countries jump through hoops. Loans will
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
19 hours 20 in Guyana and right across the Eastern Caribbean. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to you and welcome to the Friday edition of the Glenn Lall Show right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and the 99.5 FM. My name is Joshua Van Slykeman. I'm your moderator this evening, and of course it is time for me to hand you over to the man of the hour, my boss, Mr. Glenn Lall. Sir, good evening to you.
Namaste, Josh.
Namaste.
Namaste is my soul, honors your soul. I respect the place in you where the entire universe resides. I honor the light, the love, the truth, the beauty and peace within you, because it is also within me. In sharing these things, we are united. We are the same. We are one. That's Namaste. And that's to you and you only, Josh. Tonight, I am not talking to any Guyanese. I am having a discussion with Josh and the studio alone. And now I got Miss Harris just walking, so I'll be speaking to Mr. Josh, Miss Harris, and the studio alone. So you guys don't have to listen. and you don't have to telephone me. I'm not taking any telephone call tonight. Because, like, all of we, not me, sorry, all of your head hard. Because you're not doing anything. So I have concluded that if I talk to myself, then I can do something for myself in this country. I'm working and I'm talking to myself and for myself. I told you guys on Wednesday program how the opposition leader, Joseph Harmon, find time to abuse and cuss down Jagdeo, telling him how he looked pale and he's slurring and stuff like that. But he, Harmon, has not found the time since leaving office to hold a press conference and talk to this nation about what is going on with your pockets. Joshua, your pocket, your belly, your livelihood and your future. He didn't find time to do that. I talked on over 100 programs, Josh, about thousands of issues in which he should have been dealing with as opposition leader. About the foreigners, what they're doing in this land, and to which he said nothing. Nothing. After 6 years of we finding oil, me and you, Joshua, nobody else, we find oil in this country, and we pumping oil. Not a word we hear from these people. I just want to believe, Josh, that cat got hold of his tongue, or soup full up in his mouth. Because where the oil sector is concerned, he has not messaged, emailed, or called me to let me know when he's going to come on this program to sit with us and let us have this frank discussion. He didn't find that time to text me or tell me, but he can find time. But he can find time to cuss out his own Guyanese brother as to how he look and what he doing. They're ready to compare. He ready to compare bamboo mess from cow dung. That is what they find time to do as leaders in this country, Josh and Miss Harris. Indeed. You can put on Miss Harris' mic. I am not upset with you, life. Neither am I upset with you, Josh. I am just astonished. I can see how these multinationals and their people in their countries smiling all the way to the banks. By now their bank book overflowing with Guyana's wealth in the billions. While you, Josh, and Miss Harris and myself, the owners of this wealth, lining up for $25,000 COVID money. I can't even find words sometimes to describe what is going on in this land with these leaders who call themselves politicians. Please, please, Josh, don't call this abuse out. I am not abusing or cuss anybody. What I'm saying here is more of a wake-up call for you and Miss Harris to see and to understand whose interest these leaders really looking out for. Guyana is being robbed over $1 million a day on those supply boats alone that Exxon is renting. I have talked about this thing over 50 times on these programs. On the helicopter service from Ogle airstrip, we are maybe losing $2 million a day. But for now, Josh and Miss Harris, let's put it as at $1 million. As the year goes by, we're losing that. So that's 1 million from the boat supply and 1 million from the helicopter service. That's, you know what kind of money that is, Josh? Losing $730 million American dollars a year. 400 households, Josh, in this country. Every household should have already got in their bank book $1,825 US, which is 365,000 Guyana dollar a year. Are you hearing anything from Joe Harmon? Whether they would correct that? No, nothing. We're hearing nothing. What you hearing? You're hearing how Jagdeo look and what he eating. Yes. Josh, when I hear people call on this program and talk about how them getting 19,000 and them $25,000 a year, you don't want to know what goes through my mind to say. But it's radio, so I gotta watch my words. It don't be nice what I want, what I want to come out my mouth for going to your ears. You hear me, Josh?
Yeah.
It's not nice words. Just read through the lines, or read my mind, or watch my face, if you can. Or you can call me privately on my number. I'm going to tell y'all how I feel about that 19,000, 25,000 y'all are running and lining up in the sun from morning till night for. We losing 365 grand a year on two single expenses for let's say 3 years, 2019, 2020, 3 years, and 2020, 2021, they're pumping oil. Just multiply the 365 by 3. Josh, you lose $1,095,000 in your bank book.
Correct.
Yep.
Every household lose that.
Yep.
Yeah, that is what each household loses for the last 3 years on that boat and helicopter service alone. Man, Josh, I feel like scream for you and Miss Harris here.
Screaming for my children
And
grandchildren.
all of you, when you call this program and talk about $25,000, man, sometimes you don't find the words to describe how you feel
Exactly.
about these Guyanese people.
But this
That's
is
why, Josh, I am talking to you and Miss Harris alone. I'm pretty much certain you're going to learn and you're going to stand up and you're going to say something with me.
Yeah.
Father, above, you need to help this country and its people. And you need to do it quickly. Miss Harris, if you continue sleeping and wait on Harmon, Ali and Jagdeo for put food on your doorstep for your family, you're going to have to wait 10 generations. It's 10 generations you guys got to wait. Josh,
Yeah.
if you don't wake up and open your mouth as to what is going on, trust me, bro. Trust me. Continue being silent, and enough money will come your way. You're going to get a bigger $25,000 next year. That's what you will be getting. Wow. And you're going to be happy with it. Just like how Jagdeo and Harmon them is proud to announce and say $25,000 y'all can get. Wednesday, Josh, you remember? I talk about Harmon putting out a statement cussing Jagdeo. Josh, I want you to play the video, not for the Guyanese people. I want you to play this video so that Miss Harris wanna hear. See? I want she hear it. Just play the first video. See how Mr. Jagdeo respond to Harmon. Play.
And then to listen to Harmon with his utter stupidity, nonsense, saying that, oh, the COVID grant was only given to selected people by Nigel Dharma. We went to almost every household in this country. Now, I know that some people didn't get it. My sister didn't get it. She lives in the Commons Lodge area. She said to me she wasn't home. And I said to her, unfortunately, now you weren't home. They couldn't put in a pink slip. You can't get it. But it's sad because she feels she's entitled to it. But it's not like discrimination. So there are few people who did not get because of some circumstances. But on the whole, we visited every household. And people can testify to that. It didn't matter whether you voted APNO or PPP. So again, people recognize the stupidity. Like recently, he said we're tapping his phone because every time he takes a call, his phone acts up. Well, it's time for him to, he collected a lot of money, and I want to take you on a tour after this to show you the safe, the infamous safe. It's a massive safe that he has in this room here that he never left the key for. I'll give you a nice shot for the camera. But he can't, he needs to get a new phone or talk to the service provider. Not every time your phone drops a call, the government is spying on him. Now, why would we need to spy on Harman? But you know the reason why he said that just a couple days ago is because he wanted to deflect from the fact that when I spoke on a recent interview, I pointed out that President Granger was tapping his phone, Trotman's phone, Valda Lawrence, Ramchatan's phone. They were being tapped because he did not trust them. He didn't trust them. And this happened after they were trying to steal the elections because the pressure started mounting on President Granger. And then he realized that there was an active plot by a number of people, Harman leading it, to steal the elections. Harman, it is...
Joshua.
Yes.
Joshua.
Jesus Christ.
This is we leader. He was proud to say they went to all them household and give $25,000. He said his sister live in the Cummings Lodge area. What's the home so she didn't get shielded? Joshua, I tell you something, if I had a brother who was the president for this country for so long, and now the vice president of this country, heading the oil sector, what is the whole world talk about? Sending 25,000 Guyana dollars for me at my house. I would have spit on that money or wipe me behind with it and mail it back to him while it's still fresh. Gosh, man.
That's sickening.
This is sickening what's happening in this land. More so, guys, when I hear he say, she entitled to it. Man, something is wrong in this land. Something is wrong with these people's thinking. I tell you, Josh, market vendors can run this country better than some of these morons we have that Miss Harris call leaders.
I don't. I certainly
You know, as he was talking there, I was shaking my head in disbelief.
Pure nonsense.
Those are the leaders you look up to, Miss Harris, and the studio here. Yeah. Then he said how Harman said he tapping the phone. This is the kind of things these people find important to talk about, not between themselves, but that is what them telling the nation. This is where the priority sits. Phone tapping. They have been tapping mine. You know, they have been tapping my phone from day one.
Exactly. That's old news.
Them know me business more than me.
Yes.
Them just hear what I tell some of them.
Yep.
and some of their friends. You don't want to hear what is tell some of them friends about them. Them friends just go back and tell them when they ain't got time for listen. He talk about some safe Harman left left in the OP office and didn't left the key. And promised the man to take a photo of it. I am not upset with you, Josh. I'm not upset with you, Miss Harris. I am just astonished.
As am I.
He said, you know why Harman said that? Because he wanted to deflect. Just keep that word, Josh, in your mind. Deflect. He said Granger tapped them phone lines because he didn't trust them. And he gone on about this whole infighting in the PNC. It's just deflecting. He also deflecting from what is important to every citizens of this country. Our resources, guys.
Yes.
You hear me? Josh?
Yeah.
Your pockets
Yep.
and Miss Harris' pockets. Nobody else. Let me ask you, Josh. You want to hear anything like that from your leaders? Or you want to hear about your pocket and your bank book? Amen. Could you play the next video?
Yes.
Let Miss Harris hear what else he had to say.
So, yes, people were beginning to live the good life. But who were these people? It was the government ministers that they took a massive salary increase for, that they were paying a pension plan for, that was paid for by us so that they can fly abroad, get health care for themselves and their families abroad, increasing the per diem. Ministers, you recall the infamous Simona Brooms, etc., the meals, you should see what they're eating. And by the way, talking about eating, Harman said I go to Hard Rock to eat from there, right? And that I hold cabinet. Let me say to Harman, every time I go to Hard Rock to eat something, I pay for it from my pocket. The businessmen don't buy it for me. I pay for it, like how they used to fet him up. And free birthday bashes at different places, etc. And you recall when he was campaigning, running against Walter Lawrence, he brought in some lobster and crab and everything, fancy steak at the Georgetown Club the night before to bribe the delegates. And then that night they had a crash up of about 8 or 9 government vehicles, and it never made the media. They ducked it all. So I'm getting it from the police now. I have some pictures that someone sent me that night about that. So freeness is Harman's thing. He thinks when I go to Hard Rock, because that's what he is accustomed to when he goes out, like remember the trip to China? That when he goes out, they fet him. I pay my own bill. Since he found it to say this in the media, then now the man wants to know what I'm eating to, where I'm going. He has this obsession. So I just had to get that in. But coming back to who are his people, so who were enjoying the good life? They were this group in the government, the group that they gave a lot of land to, the group that they gave contracts to, and then some of his friends, the big businessmen, who were depositing money over all the time, paying handsomely for what they got. And some of them got enormous. 4 businessmen got nearly $40 billion worth of contracts.
I'm just, I'm really in shock right now. I can't believe this is the level that these politicians operate at. That's like a schoolyard conversation where I just listened to.
Agree with you.
Complete nonsense.
It
Who
is-
don't like freeness and who wants to eat steak and you give to your friends and I'm going to give to... It's ridiculous.
It is sick when you hear these people, man.
sickening. It's
Yeah.
sickening. This is why a lot of us young people do
It's
not
sick.
listen to them. We don't pay attention to them because they can't fool us. This is nonsense. They have time to sit there and argue about this nonsense. Who doesn't want to eat a hard rock and who's paying for steaks and the rest of it? But you can't tell us simple questions about what our future is going to look like and what our children's and children's future is going to look like. You're dodging that. You don't have time for that, but you got time to talk about this nonsense.
It is
that
sickening.
whole diatribe just gave me a headache.
Yes, it's sickening, man. That's why I tell you I don't want to talk to the Guyanese people anymore. He said them increase salary for themselves. He said they increase salary for themselves. That's the coalition. And how the state pay for health care for them. But he left out the piece that the salary increase was for all of them.
Of course.
He didn't say how the state used to pay for his health care too. And still continues to pay for his health care. See guys? Josh, you see what's going on? This is what they find time to talk about. This is how they're deflecting the real issues that are going on with your belly, Josh. Is the coconut oil talking about, Miss Harris? Me talk about no other oil. I forget to tell y'all is the coconut farm. I buy a coconut farm in Wakenham. So it's only coconut oil I'm thinking about now. Okay? When you miss me, I gone there. Listen this crap for this leader. This vice president finding time to talk about. Where they meeting. And who paying bill.
It's honestly insulting to the Guyanese people. Honestly.
Josh,
so
I really want to tell both of them, Harman and Jagdeo, whether them eat at Hard Rock, Marriott or Pegasus, New Trivian or Sarwan restaurant, or wherever. The people of this country paying those bills. Because it's we that pay y'all a salary.
Exactly.
Josh and Miss Harris, don't forget that. You and my money is paying them. He talk about how Harman flying here and flying there. And them are even flying lobster and fancy crab for some board day them had. Miss Harris, you heard him yourself. Let me tell you this. He can't find time to talk about the lobster, the sky crabs, the steak, the salmon, the caviar, sushi that is being imported daily to feed those oil people out there, costing each household maybe another $1 million a day. That's not important for them. Important for him is what this one to eat and what this one to throw away in them house. That's the kind of leaders y'all have here. Remember, it's only the studio I'm talking to, you know. He said under the coalition, only a couple of people were living the good life. Them friends and their family. He said how 4 businessmen get over $40 million, which is $200 million US in contracts. Wow. What he didn't say was how under his stewardship, what he was doing the same thing, Josh, and even worse. Only a few used to really live the life with contracts. Josh, them have a bee in the studio, another bee. Read through the lines. I fed up call the names, man. There's a lot of bees Jagdeo have surrounded himself with. Them own half of Guyana under Jagdeo. And now he gonna make the foreigners own the other half of Guyana, in which the bees gonna sell, gonna lease or rent the foreigners the half them own too. Josh, you wouldn't hear Jagdeo talk about that, but he can go on for hours with special people People were going to dance and sing hymn music. You know, Kaieteur News have been trying to get him to sit down on the radio since December. He has been dodging. He has been running and hiding from Kaieteur News, the newspaper and the radio, to answer real questions, deal with real issues, like what I am talking about. Your pockets, Josh, your belly, your bank book, your good life.
Yep.
But he can't find time. None out of the two of them can find time to come sit down with this man here. But I can find time to go sit down with a man named Critic and put he for read. You better play it. Put it for read what Harmon said. Just play the video, let him hear it, man.
Irfan Ali, this is in his statement, and Prime Minister Mark Phillips to defend the record of the PPP regime's last 12 months in office. Jagio decided that he had to emerge from his engine room to see if he could salvage a very sad situation. He went on to suggest, I am your sidekick, but this is what dawned upon me. And this is the opposition leader, which I think plays a great role in bringing down a party. Just came out of government, showed that it had some bit of stance and some bit of stamina to represent its people, and it seems that it's losing that now as a result of one man. Sadly, his lame attempts, fancy words again, he goes on to say the people have been suffering economic and social hardships over the past 12 months after they were beginning to live a good life under the APNU AFC coalition. Now, he suggested that they begin to live the good life after 5 years, and it is mass confusion only in 12 months. After this administration, now the facts are clear, this administration would have placed in the public domain, in the economy, more money in the people's hands while we're having a pandemic of astronomical proportions, more money in the people's hands than the government had placed in 5 years, the last government.
Yes.
Oh boy, Josh was always telling me somebody slapped me behind your neck. What happens here?
I feel a pressure at the back of my neck.
You feel a pressure.
I feel
Listening
a pressure
to this.
at the back of my neck just listening to
Listening to
this.
this
Just
room,
listening to this.
Yes.
I feel
Yes.
the pressure's raising.
It's sad, eh?
It's really sad.
It's a good thing.
beyond sad.
It's a good thing. Listen, I used to go through the same thing over the years. When I listen to these people, when I look at them,
Yeah.
you know, at one time they sent me tickets for cricket, and when I went there, I had to write it in the newspaper and said, "Don't send me back tickets." I went to the presidential stand, and I said, writing in the newspaper, I said, "Don't invite me. Glenn Lall don't want to come back there." It is sickening to look at some of these leaders' face and hear what comes out of their mouth.
Exactly.
Josh, did you listen to that man carefully?
Yep.
Jagdeo put a man like Critic, his sidekick, who he liked to sit down with, to cherry pick what Harmon said in the statement and come up with his own interpretation defending Jagdeo. I think he do a better job than Jagdeo could have do. I don't think Jagdeo could have defended himself, sir.
And that's why he's there.
He started praising Jagdeo and Ali, President Ali, talking about all this money them pour in the country since them come in. But this fool doesn't know them couple dollars, them $25,000 they're sharing out. They've been and borrowed it from foreign banks, paying interest to share out, while Guyana losing over 1,000 times more daily from our coconut field. You know the coconut field that I'm talking about? Yes, man.
I can imagine it.
Yes. That is the kind of a press conference these leaders holding these days. finding time to sit down with people who knows nothing about journalism, knows nothing about business,
Yep.
to discuss Guyana business. Me and you business. The biggest business we have in this country so far, the coconut field. Them that is the kind of people they find time to sit down with. Hours too. Can't find 10 or 50 minutes to come sit down here and deal with these issues.
Or speak to a legitimate journalist. But they have time for this.
The most
nonsense.
powerful leaders who over 80% of the men and women voted for representing that is how they're representing the voters. Yeah, all rights. Abusing and bashing each other like two hungry belly drug addicts in the streets, pelting insults at one another. Man, the international community laughing all the way to the banks. Miss Harris, these guys can't see. They just can't see to put their heads together to make those same voters happy. Man, Miss Harris, is how much more foolish, dotish and stupid they can get. You have an answer to that?
I don't think anybody wants to hear my answer to that.
I tell you
because-
guys, I am only talking to myself, Joshua, and now Miss Harris. And I am not taking any telephone calls tonight. Because a brother called me Wednesday night and said, the same thing what happened to Sharma will happen to me.
Oh, Lord.
I want to tell this brother something. I ain't named Sharma. I ain't look like Sharma and I don't speak like Sharma. I'm just trying to help every one of you to see how a good life is turning upside down. How danger lurking ahead for the Guyanese people. I am being deprived of the joys, the love of playing with my 2 4-year-old twin grandsons and the little princess I have, just so that I could educate Guyana as to what is happening to their lives and how we can change that. Something I feel I should be rewarded for. And I am not asking for much. You hear me? The reward I am looking for is just a shot of vodka. I don't want money. Instead, that brother calling to abuse me. Like he take a line out of Jack David Harmon book for abuse. All I want is for you guys to get out of that mentality of being penny wise and pound foolish. Miss Harris, Josh, you guys have to stop settling for the crumbs of your cake and start looking at the cake that really has the ingredients. And you must realize that the cake is your cake.
Yes.
The entire cake should be you, Josh, and Miss Harris should be sharing it. Not the other way around. You should be making the decision. You should get your leaders to do the right thing. You should get the leaders to start saying the right thing. Not the other way around, where ExxonMobil telling the leaders what to do and what to tell us, including the this radio station. It's the radio station they're here still?
Yes.
Yeah, man, they're here still. No. That kind of mentality, Josh, has to change. You hear me, Miss Harris?
Yes.
And it has to change now. Every day, multi-million US dollar contracts are being given out by ExxonMobil to their friends, in which our government is not saying anything. You hear for yourself what am I find time to talk about, Josh?
Yeah.
With critic and neo-Marx? Yes, views down and cuss down. They're cussing each other about tapping phones and who ain't get $25,000. Where does eat and who does pay the bill? How them looking? Who's stuttering? Who do this and who do that? Yes, that is what is important to them. I am not upset with you, Miss Harris. No, I am just astonished.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Kaieteur News had to learn from a foreign company's website 4 days ago that they get a contract from ExxonMobil, a huge contract, a multi-million US dollar contract, but no price tag is on it. You know what I mean, Miss Harris? Let me tell you alone quietly. It means them going to start working in a wee coconut field out there and throw billions of US dollars, yes man, at us. This is how Harman, the opposition leader, Ali, the president, and Jagdeo, the vice president, who heading the oil sector, run the coconut oil field. Did any one of you, Josh and Miss Harris, hear a word from ExxonMobil or the government or the opposition about this company coming to do more survey in our coconut field?
Nothing.
Thank
Not
you.
one thing. Not a peep, a wink.
It's only Kaieteur News reported on it. The contract, Miss Harris, is to do more surveys on our property. Surveys that our leaders should have approved first. Because at the end of the day, we have to pay the contract costs and all the expenses from our coconut oil, which will shorten your profits.
Yes.
Josh, you hear me? Which will shorten your profits. The contract was announced without a price tag on it. I can't blame the private contractor for not telling us the contract costs. Trust me, I'm not going to blame him. The man get a work. And if he get a good deal, of course he going to shut him out. I can't even blame ExxonMobil. You know who you have to blame, Josh? Your government.
Yes.
Our leaders.
Yes.
Harman, Ali and Jagdeo them. Every other day we have to learn from some outside sources about another multi-million dollar contract being given out in our coconut field, and we not hearing a word from Vice President Jagdeo, the man who heads the sector. You hearing anything, Josh? You're not hearing nothing?
No.
Oh, you're not hearing nothing?
No.
You hear something, man. You hear how Harman left a big safe at OP without the key. You hear that, man?
I heard it.
Yes, you hear that.
But we can't hear the interest.
Maybe the interest rate, what Glenn Lall asked all of them for, is in that safe.
We should ask him for it.
Yeah, man. And no, you did hear the man say, oh, Jagdeo looking sick and pale. Yeah, man, you hear them things, that man. And you hear how he getting high, half he own supply. Yeah, man.
Wow.
I am not upset with you, Josh. Remember, it's you, Miss Harris, and the radio station alone I'm talking to.
Yeah.
I am just astonished. Man, this free-for-all with this contract in our coconut business is so outrageous and shameful. Foreigners now boasting how stupid we are
Yep.
and how much money them can make on these pacus we have in Guyana. Remember, I compare some prices on what Suriname and Trinidad paying for their supply boats versus what Guyana paying. Them paying 12,000 and we paying 55,000 US dollar a day. Work or no work? Josh, Miss Harris, it is years now and we never see that cost for the helicopter rental. I am pretty much certain Guyana is paying $5 million a month instead of $500 or $700,000 a month Suriname is paying. These people are so happy when they get the contract from Guyana that they're boasting, Miss Harris. These people boasting all over the world. Just the other day, listen to this one, Josh. Just the other day, the helicopter company Bristow, them blue and white helicopter flying out of Ogle every 15 minutes. Yes, them had a meeting with their shareholders, Josh. At that meeting, the boss man, yes, he named Chris Bradshaw, told his shareholders how Guyana is now the global bright spot when it comes to making money.
That's a good one.
Did I laugh right there? Yes? Yeah, man. Yes, they're boasting to the shareholders how Guyana is now the global bright spot when it comes to making money. Yes, we coconut feel rich. So rich that they're boasting on it. Is what all boasting about, Josh? The 19,000 Guyana dollar. The man said, the more coconut them find, is the more contracts them seeing ahead, which is more money for them. In fact, his exact words were, listen to this, Miss Harris, that they see a nice cash flow return from Guyana coconut field. Nice cash flow. That's the man exact words. Wow. When can Guyana say that? When can our leaders tell this nation that they see a nice cash flow coming to Guyana and to the people?
Excellent question.
Man. We carried that story a few days ago. Hope you guys see, Josh and Miss Harris. These people boasting to their shareholders what them foresee. Let me ask, is what your leaders foreseeing for you and me? Not as shareholders, but as owners. We are the owners. May I ask, is Harman Jagdeo going to come on this radio and tell me what they're foreseeing for your children lunch kits, your bank book, your salary increase? I'm still waiting on them to text me. It's an open invitation to any one of them. Please come. I always remember Kaieteur, Trinidad Prime Minister, who called in the oil players and told them bluntly, you guys are proud to tell your shareholders that you're looking out for their interests. Kaieteur said, he as Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister also have to look out for his shareholders, who are the people of Trinidad and Tobago. He went on to say that this thing got to work equally, in which both sides must benefit. That's how their contract, Joshua, was renegotiated in 3 weeks. You guys in favor for us to bring him here?
Of course.
To look out for the Guyanese shareholders? Since the leaders we have here aren't looking out for us, cannot look out for us, or bent on not looking out for us. You guys want me to invite the man to come here?
Yes.
Good, thank you. I'm going to send my thing. You know, Josh, I find this thing strange. Miss Harris, I really find it strange. Guyana got a governance structure that provides representation for all the people of this country. We have 3 branches of government. President Ali runs the state. He in charge of the whole all them state machineries. The opposition leader, Mr. Harmon, is not out of this governance structure. He is equally responsible to the people of this country because he holds a constitutional office as opposition leader. Josh,
Yes.
between the two of them, they are responsible for everything that goes on day to day in this country.
Correct.
Both of them supposed to be safeguarding and protecting all of us, every single one of us. I have been a pastor, an imam, and a pandit preaching day go and day come, not only in the newspapers but on this radio station, about the jack-up bills, the inflated bills these people have been throwing at us. And what have you been hearing from Mr. Harmon or Mr. Ali? Ali said we now hiring people for check them bills. This thing has gotten so disgraceful, despicable, and downright unthinkable that the international community getting the symptoms. They are now speaking out against this atrocity, this abuse of an entire nation. They're speaking out about what this country is going through, me and you. We carried a story today, Josh, in which an international body, the Natural Resources Governance Institute, calling on Guyana's leaders to start checking them bills that we get in every second of the day. The people warning Guyana, that is the area you find the most corruption and bribery and thieving. Them same multi-billion-dollar contract that giving out every day, in which Ali, Jagdev and Harmon says nothing about. That is what the people warning Guyana. Is them same supply boats and helicopter services, the prices for the ships, the pipes, the chemicals, the drilling, the rigging, the surveys, salaries, everything them spend, everything them buy. That is what the people say, keep your eyes on it. Big, huge, humongous thievery going on there. Miss Harris, the international body said that in 40 oil countries they review, 64% of those contracts between oil companies and the suppliers had massive corruption. Josh, you understand what I mean? In layman terms, almost 3/4 of all them contracts got huge robberies inside. And not the oil company or the suppliers getting robbed. The people of this country is getting robbed.
Exactly.
Blindly. And it's not Glenn Lall telling you this, Josh. The Natural Resource Governance Institute of this world is telling Guyana this. Man, I am ashamed to call myself a Guyanese. A pity I couldn't go Norway and live somewhere decent. But I am thinking to go live in Suriname. The people say, one area we should look at, Josh. You hear me? And they say we should look at it with all 4 eyes. The 2 we got in front and the 2 we got at back. Is the exploration cost.
Correct.
That is big money. That is gigantic money. First, First, let me tell you, for those of you who don't know what is exploration cost, or just in case some of you forget what is exploration cost, is looking, is searching for oil, checking to see how much oil is here, there, and everywhere. Drilling for the oil, not drilling to bring up the oil. You get me clear, Josh?
Yes.
Drilling, looking for the oil. That is what the people mean. That is what is exploration costs. Just for look for it, every hole. Tom Zanzilo give us a figure of 7.6 billion US dollars up to 2019. This report that we carried today said 4.6 billion. Which one is correct is the billions of American dollars we are talking about, only up to 2019. Josh, the people telling we got to check it before time run out on we. We have to contest it. And I could tell you, Miss Harris, 3/4 that is inflated bills.
Yes.
This is not pennies you're dealing with. It's not planting chip money or egg ball money we're talking about. When you hear billions of US dollars, our whole year budget, Miss Harris, runs on less than 2 billion American dollar. All Guyana debt is 2.2 billion Guyana US dollar. So when you hear about 5 to 8 billion American dollar in bills, buddy, who ain't gonna want to check that?
Exactly.
Huh? Especially when you get in international warnings about the international gangsters you got to deal with. Man, Joshua, a donkey, a moron, a market vendor, man, even a sweetie seller ain't allowing that to pass them, much less little children. We leaders. Remember, Miss Harris, I am talking only to the studio, you and Joshua. I am not speaking to Guyana anymore. I'm done with them. I finish. Them ain't listening. Or else by now every jackman would have been on the streets calling up Lall to join them.
Yes.
Lall, let me tell you this. Your damn ears hard. I have been telling you to stop telling the people anything. Them gonna live and learn. Like how all them African and Asian countries learn. Learn the hard way. Trinidad and Tobago, your neighbor, 100 years now. Them a hustle for correct them contract. What I find a huge loophole in. They were losing billions. Lall, the Guyanese people waiting 100 years before they wake up. You hear me? The people ain't only warning Guyana about the billions them losing on exploration costs and the bills that come with it. They went further, Josh. The people say you got to also check on exemptions and waivers Guyana is giving out
Exactly.
like candies to these foreign people. They say not only to the oil companies, listen this carefully, Josh. The people say not only to the oil companies, but to their contractors and subcontractors. Josh, you know what them people mean? When they talk about exemption and waivers, you know? Little bit, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, man. Is money we giving away big money we giving away to foreigners. What could have make Guyanese more filthy rich?
Correct. Say it again.
Let me tell you what you mean, Josh. I'm not telling Guyana. That boat supply, the helicopter service they're doing, them don't have to pay taxes. But if Glenn Lall and you, Josh, get one boat or one helicopter and start doing any business, we have to pay the workers' taxes and the company taxes. Plus we own taxes. And if we bring in anything for the business, we got to pay the duties and taxes on every single piece of item. That is what the people mean. But them, ExxonMobil, them contractors and subcontractors, they are exempted. They get a waiver, so they don't have to pay. That is what the people saying. You have to correct because you're losing billions every hour on that. I am not upset with you, Josh and Miss Harris. I am just astonished. Just let me break it down a little more. If ExxonMobil hired Glenn Lall with 20 trucks to fetch sand to build their headquarters, Glenn Lall don't have to pay any taxes. But you, Josh, if you got 20 trucks and you fetching sand for somebody else, you better go find Godfrey Station and hand him his check. You hear me? Hand him his share of taxes on every truckload sand you fetch for the man. This is beautiful Guyana. Eh?
It is.
Yeah, man. Killing you, the citizens of this country, with taxes while giving away billions from the foreigners, from every single one of the foreigners. Josh and Glenn Lall. Joshua and Glenn Lall, please hear this. The two of y'all, just you and Glenn Lall, Josh, nobody else. Don't bring in this thing. Just the two of y'all gotta hear this, the sweetest part of this program tonight. Those bills handed to us for just looking for the oil. Those figures that Glenn Lall talked about just now, to you and Glenn Lall, is bills just for looking for the oil.
Wow.
No country, you hear me, listen to this carefully, no country pays for that. Only these morons we have for politicians agree to and accept that in our contract.
Wow.
Our neighbor, brother, our neighbor Suriname tell them oil people in plain words, them type of bills is not for Suriname. Keep them and put it where Pali Puti not.
Wow.
You understand what I'm telling you there?
Yes.
That is what Suriname tell them. Josh,
Yes.
you got a big swamp land and a man come to you and say you want to go look for fish and he want you pay and he team for go look for fish. You gonna do that, boy?
Of course not. Of course not.
Miss Harris, you gonna do something like that?
Hell no.
Whether he find fish or he don't find fish or he finds something else, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Of course.
You got to continue paying the man for look for fish.
You
My
see?
dead body.
Yeah, who does things like this, man?
Let me keep my fish.
A man going in you gold mine to look for gold and you got to pay him whether he find gold or not find gold. Man, something is definitely wrong with my eyes or my brain. Josh,
Not just you.
I don't want any telephone calls. Keep all the calls for Monday night. I'm coming on Monday night just to take telephone calls on this subject matter. I can't handle any more for tonight. I have to take a drink, coconut water and vodka. If you care to join me, Josh, let's go. May God Almighty shine a bright light in the night on Guyana so that the people's eyes can open, so that they don't sleep. Joshua,
Yes, sir.
Miss Harris,
Yes.
have a good night. And God bless the two of you. More bills in the making by the billions to come for 2019, 2020, and 2021. And the continuing drilling on the same continuing to drill. Searching for oil, drilling for oil. You guys remember we got a song, Drill Baby Drill? That song was made by me through that Calypsonian. That's Jack Dave's song. Where he said, drill baby, drill. I want to see when that bill come, where you going to put that? For 2019, 2020, and 2021. That's going to be another $100 billion bill. Yes. Josh, that's it. I'm tired.
I know you're tired, but I know you're not taking calls tonight and you want to go. But I have a question for you. You
All right.
said that the contract has a clause for renegotiation if both parties agreed. If Exxon says no, what happens?
Josh, that's a good question.
Uh-huh.
If the leaders of this country ask Exxon to come back and sit at the table for a renegotiation of the contract, and Exxon says no, then I think it's no. I don't want to believe it's no. The contract says it's signed in stone, right? But let's forget about the no, right? It means we can't do nothing about that.
Yeah.
But Josh, there isn't an attempt by both government and opposition for a renegotiation.
Yeah.
So you may want to think that we can't do nothing, that all is lost. No, Josh. No, Josh. We got to hear the opposition or the government say something. Bring it up. Say, Exxon, come back on the table. But let's say they don't want to say it. All is not lost, Josh. The ball still is in our court, in which we have to discuss, in which we have to issue license and renew permits, approve all those different oil wells they plan to bring in, which we can call the shots to rake in the billions where they don't want to renegotiate.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
We can, we should, we must. We can put ring fencing provisions in place to avoid them stealing billions from us. Josh, we can do so many things to stop them in the tracks if they don't want to renegotiate the contract.
Yeah.
But Josh, the leaders, they're not opening their mouth. They're just not opening their mouth. So you really got to have a good night. You know, you remember, everybody remember, President Granger get that contract released. He had to get permission from Exxon.
Yeah.
So we get it. Who's asking for a renegotiation of the oil contract? Not a single soul. So I think I answered your question, Josh.
Yes, you did.
God bless you, Josh.
God bless
and
you
Miss
too.
Harris and the radio station. God bless you. And God bless you too, Glenn Lall. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Namaste. Good night.